Hello, good afternoon. It's Lara here, and I am delighted to be with you today for this workshop all about achieving your goals. The 3 things that you must have to make it happen. If you're joining me live, please show me in the comments. Just tell me where you're from, what's happening, and whether or not you in fact are achieving your goals in life and business. For some of us, it's absolutely 100%. For others of us, it's 80%, 50%. And then for others, it's around about, 10%. Yes, I'm achieving my goals. So just let me know, just in the comments below, how you're going in terms of achieving your goals. Because today, if you're stuck, you're struggling, you're not quite there, I'm going to share with you 3 key shifts that you need to make in order to achieve your goals in life and business. Okay, let's get started. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Lara Young, and if you have been working hard to achieve goals that aren't yet a reality, then this workshop is absolutely for you. I know a lot of people put in all the effort. They seem to be working, all hours of the day, working really, really hard, doing things, feet pedaling all the time, under the water like a little duck. And the reality is that for whatever reason, and I'm going to share 3 of those reasons with you today, your goals aren't manifesting themselves. They're not becoming a reality. So today I'm going to be sharing 3 key mindset shifts that you need to make in order to make it happen in your life and business. Because unless you do, you will not achieve any of the goals that you set yourself. And that's the harsh reality, unfortunately. There are some things that can be holding you back that you are not consciously aware of from actually making those goals happen in your life or business. Again, if you are online, just let me know that you're here and just give me some hearts. Just let me know how you're going in terms of achieving your own goals. Okay, so let's move on. So for those of you that don't know me, I left my job in 2006 in the corporate world to start my own business consultancy and also a retreats business. So I work with global corporations all around the world on succession, talent, leadership and strategy, and I'm an achievement coach and I host retreats, personal development retreats. I'm a trainer of neuro-linguistic programming or NLP, timeline therapy and hypnosis, which really balances out and gives me that mindset mastery aspect. So I've been working with helping people to release their potential, whether that's in life or business, for over 20 years now. And I really love that combination of the logical, strategic, action-based strategy work, around what are the exact steps that you need to take in order to get a result that you desire, with the mindset mastery work around what are the blocks that you are perhaps not conscious of that are holding you back from getting there. And that's what I really love, that dynamic combination between those 2 things. In addition to these 2 things that I do, I also have a 5-star guest house. That was part of my business strategy. I was running retreats and was hiring venues every weekend in order to host them. And I realised pretty quickly that it would be great to live in it instead, and then still have a venue available. I love cooking, so I also cook on the radio. I'm a judge in the British Pie Awards, and I started a food event called Grace the Veil. So there's some things that I do. I think I have what you call a bit of a gig career, so I do different things. I'm multi-passionate, and I love doing all of those great things. And what do they all have in common? Well, one of the other things, before I go on to that I wanted to share with you is that I also am a mum. One of the things I always wanted to do is to become a mum. And for whatever reason, I was never in the right relationship at the right time. And so I went through the adoption process and I adopted my 2 daughters, Grace and Sarah, and when they were babies. And it was interesting because I was told by my social worker, you won't get babies and you won't get girls. And my thought was to just watch me, knowing everything that I know about setting and achieving goals and mindset mastery, law of attraction. I put that all into place so that I actually achieved what I desired, which was to become a mum of 2 girls. And people used to say to me, be careful what you wish for. And my response is always, I am careful what I wish for, because I know with these processes and systems and mindset shifts that whatever I wish for is going to become a reality. And that's what I want to share with you today. So the reason I've shared that with you, and what has all of this got to do with achieving goals, is that everything I've shared with you is a result of the exact mindset shifts I made to make my goals a reality. So I'm going to share the things with you that you need to do, and you can do them really, really easily. But it's just being aware of what they are. Okay. So it's not necessarily about keeping pedaling, keeping working. It's actually more than that. There is more to it. Although obviously taking action is really, really important, and I'll get onto that as well. Okay, so in this workshop, what I'm going to share with you are the 3 gaps in your thinking that may be holding you back when it comes to achieving your goals, dreams and desires. 3 mindset shifts that you must make if you're going to achieve the success that you desire, and how to uncover what's holding you back across each of these areas so that you're ready, that you're aware of them and ready to take the next step. As I said, none of us consciously want to sabotage ourselves from achieving our goals, right? None of us want to do that. But somehow it happens, okay? And so you're not alone. If you've been working really hard and things haven't been happening, you're not alone. It's just a matter of getting this awareness. Hi Ezra, hi Dana, great to see you. Now when I think about the context of my the work that I do with business owners, and I do a lot of work with women in business who want to get results, who want to achieve profitability, who want to create a business that really works for them and their lifestyle. I have 3 main components that I focus on, and there's strategy, action and results. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that for a minute, because it's really important to have a strategy and a plan that you can follow, then take action and get results. And I always thought, right, this formula is great because it is very linear, it makes sense, it's something that people can easily follow and put into place once they have the right tools, once they know how to do planning. And I know some of you on the call now have been through my Achievathon, where we really did distill what we want to achieve into a very simple formula for daily action for achieving our desires. But I really got to thinking recently about it's actually more than that. When we think about performance and we think about releasing our potential and we think about getting things done, having a plan and taking action isn't necessarily enough in order to get results. And I was thinking about these 3 things that I'm going to share with you, and it occurred to me that really everything starts with thought. Everything that we do, that we are, everything that we want, everything that we desire starts with a thought. And I'm sure that you've all heard the sayings before, thoughts become things. With our thoughts we create our world, and that is so true. And it's true whether or not you believe or practice the law of attraction techniques, but every single thing that happens, every decision that we make, everything that we create, everything that we do, everything that we are, starts with a thought. And so if we can really harness the power of our minds and the way in which we think about things, we're off to a brilliant start, because our thoughts are where everything is created from. And what you think about, what you focus on grows. What you focus on comes into being. What you focus on, you have your reticular activation system, as I've spoken about before, and you start to notice and pay attention to opportunities. So having those thoughts about what you want is really, really important. Having clarity about what you want is so important. And there's lots of offshoots when we think about our thoughts around them shaping what we desire, them shaping what we want to achieve in our lives and in our businesses. So our thoughts are something that are so precious and that we can really harness and guide in a very, very positive way to get where we want to be. Now, there are some creative ways of using our thoughts, obviously, to come up with ideas for businesses and what we want to do, to be really inspired with our thoughts as well. So thinking positively in its simplest form, coming up with mantras that really inspire and motivate us. Our thoughts enable us to do all of those things. And I know in our group, the She Makes It Happen in Business Facebook group, we share daily mantras and songs that light and lift us up. And they're part of that thought process. Now, the other part of the thought process, of course, is around things like strategy and planning. And so this formula or this system, thoughts, behavior, results, isn't negating the importance of having a strategy, having a plan, having a to-do list, getting really clear about what you want to achieve. It's in fact the opposite, because what it's doing is saying actually those things are very, very important, because those things, that thinking work, that creation, that ideation, that inspiration, that setting it out in a step-by-step way for what we want to achieve is crucial, because that thinking piece drives our behavior. Now, driving our behavior is very, very important too, because if I have all of those wonderful thoughts about what I want to achieve and what I desire and what I want to make a reality, if I have all those thoughts, if I have my vision board created, if I have a plan written out, if I've got my to-do list in front of me, if I've got my post-it notes, a lot of you on the call have been through my post-it note activity. If you have all those in place, they're not the same thing as taking action, okay? They're the representation of the thoughts, the planning, the structure that you've had around creating action, but it's not the same as taking action. Just give me a heart or a thumbs up. You're still with me. You can hear me. And equally, if you're on the replay and you've got any comments and questions, please let me know. I'd love to know if this is making sense for you guys. So we start with thought. Now then we move into behavior. So we've got our plan and our strategy. We've got our inspirational vision board. We've got the things that we say to ourselves on a regular basis, and hopefully they're really positive. Great, thanks, Dana. They lead to behavior, right? Or not. So, and there's a decision point in there. Are our thoughts enabling us to behave in a way that's going to get the results we desire? And so having the inspirational thoughts on one side and the plans on the other side, it's that combination of those thought processes of knowing, being inspired by what we want, being really clear about what we want, having a plan and a strategy to make it happen. Really, really important. But the next decision point, the next thing that needs to happen is behavior. And this is where a lot of people, there's a gap for, okay? There's a gap between thought and behavior. You desire something, you want something, you've written down a to-do list. Writing down a to-do list isn't the same as doing it. A lot of you have heard me before talk about, the chocolate cake. You go to a recipe book and you see a chocolate cake, a picture of a chocolate cake. Thinking, I want that chocolate cake, is not going to give you the chocolate cake. The next step, of course, is thinking and having a look at the recipe or writing a recipe for the chocolate cake. It's not going to give you a recipe. Thinking about it, planning it, is not going to give you that chocolate cake. The only thing that's going to give you the chocolate cake is action. And so this is where that whole work around strategy and, focusing on the fundamental elements of creating a successful business through our thoughts and planning is only one tiny bit of the equation, because the other bit has to be the behaviour. It has to be what we do with all our skills, knowledge and expertise. It has to be the fact that we actually get up in the morning and we go to our desk or our place of work or our place of business and we take the actions that we need to take that are going to drive results or not. And that's a choice, right? So the better your thoughts are, that your clarity about what you desire and the plan is, the more likely you are to have better behaviour around it. And by better behaviour, that sounds very parental, but, you're likely to have the behaviour that is really conducive to getting things done and making it happen. And of course, the behaviours that you engage in then drive those results, okay? Action drives results, and we all know that, okay? So today I want to talk to you really about those thoughts. So there's a lot of work I do around all these three things, as you guys know. But I really want to start today by talking about the thoughts that, and three things particularly, three thoughts, three mindset shifts that you really need to have that are going to drive different behaviour to get you the results that you desire. So if you're ready for it, just give me a thumbs up and I'll move on. Okay. And one final thing before I share the very first thing that you need to be aware of, because unless you mind the gap between your thoughts and behaviour, you're not going to get results, okay? You've all seen signs and heard on the London Underground, mind the gap. And for me, that gap is so important. Between thinking about doing something and taking action, between making a decision and taking action on it. And, money loves speed. right? So if you are wanting to do something in your business, if you've got an idea, the smaller the gap that the gap can be between what you're thinking about and what action you're taking, the better, okay? Because if we stop to pause sometimes, we can talk ourselves out of doing something, we can put it off, we can procrastinate, we can think we can do it next week, we can think we have to ring up someone else to find out if they think it's all right. We have to get it absolutely perfect. We get ourselves into overwhelm and then things don't happen. You guys know the spiral, right? The spiral that you can go down. If you don't take action on your thoughts, on your plan, then nothing gets done. Okay, so the very first thing that holds you back, and here's my number one, is possibility. Okay, now one reason that you are not achieving your goals is that somewhere deep down you don't believe it's possible for you to have it. Okay, now I just want you to sit for a minute and think about that. Do you believe it's possible for you to achieve your goal? Feel that. Feel that response that you have to that question. Do you believe it's possible for you to achieve your goal? And I know that all of you on this call have got a lot of goals that you want to achieve. Go through your goals. Look at your vision board. Okay? Have a look at the images that you've selected for yourself. Look at your planner. Look at what you wrote down in the Achievathon. Look at what you've written down for your plan and your strategy, your 90-day plan. Look at all those things and ask yourself, is it possible for me? Notice what comes up. Notice what thoughts come up and what feelings come up. Okay? Because I'll tell you a secret. If you don't believe it's possible, it's not going to happen. If you don't believe that it is possible for you, it is not going to happen. And so you need to shift your mindset into a gear that says it is absolutely 100% possible for me to achieve this. Because as Alice in Wonderland said, that's impossible. And the Mad Hatter's response was, only if you believe it is. Okay, only if you believe it is. So just some quick reactions. If this is resonating with you, let me know. Just make a heart or a thumbs up or something in the comments to say, yep, I recognise myself that there's maybe a little bit of doubt that I don't know if it is possible for me. So, and it's common, right? Okay, absolutely common that you can suddenly think, actually, I'm not sure it's possible for me. So what's the antidote? It's interesting. Because possibility comes, and it's prevalent now, especially as we've got the internet and 24/7 access to information, is that we waste so much time comparing ourselves to other people. And actually, that comparison is the antidote to believing it's possible. Okay, and I'll share why with you in a second, but you may be believing, say for example, think of a competitor in your market space or someone else who is an industry leader or an icon, someone you look up to, who's doing the same thing as you. Now, your thought around that may be, it's possible for her or them to be doing it, but it's not possible for me. Possible for her or them to be doing it, but not possible for me. Now, that is not true. Because the reality is that it's possible for her to do it, it's possible for you too. And it brings me to one of the presuppositions of NLP. Now, presuppositions are those statements that we take on as believing to be true. Okay, we presuppose them to be true. And this presupposition is that if any human being has done it, it's humanly possible. So if she can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it. Okay? And the reality is that you've got evidence right in front of you through those people that you're comparing yourself with in your marketplace, through that industry leader, through that influencer, through that icon, that actually it is possible. And you don't know what is possible for you. You don't know your limits until you take action, until you translate the thinking, the desire, the plan into action and make it happen. Okay? Give me some hearts and thumbs up if you're getting what I am saying. Now, the next thing you need to do, of course, around possibility is to make a decision. Okay? Make a decision about what you want to do. Make a decision about what you want to create. Make a decision about some action you're going to take, and then engage in behaviours that will get results. Okay? Now, engage in behaviours that will get results. Now, I understand that sometimes you're not always sure of the behaviours that are going to get results. And that is, what I help you with in things like my She Makes It Happen in Business Bootcamp and my masterminds. Okay? I help you with that gap between what do I want to achieve and how do I do it. Because often what happens is we mistake possibility for confidence. So we think something's not possible, but in fact, it's just because we don't know how to do it. Okay? We don't know the exact steps that we need to take in order to make it happen. And the antidote for possibility is also the cure. I said this earlier. If you think that you can't do something, that it's not going to be possible for you for whatever reason, look for evidence. Look for those people who are actually doing it. And think to yourself, if it's possible for her, it's possible for me. If it's possible for him, it's possible for me. If it's possible for them, it's possible for me, because it is possible. It's a decision point about the action you're going to take to make that a reality. It's a decision point about actually doing something about it. Okay? It's a decision point about maybe learning the competence that you need to learn. But the reality is that if someone else has done it, you can do it too. Perhaps in a different way. But you can do it. So, possibility, let's cross that one off. Okay? Anything is possible. And I want you to try that on as your mantra. Anything's possible. You can do anything. Okay, next one. Now, the next one is ability. And this is I can't do it. Okay? I can't do it. This is the next big mindset shift. So first one's possibility. It's not possible for me. And the second one is ability. I can't do it. And this is when you actually believe you're incapable of achieving your goals. But the reality is that you've not yet reached the limit of what you're capable of. And one of the stories that I love to share is, the story about Roger Bannister when he ran the sub 4 minute mile. No one thought it was physically possible to run a sub 4 minute mile. In fact, the doctors at the time said that if someone got to that speed, there would be significant physical damage to the person's body who ran that fast. And yet, on the 6th of May, 1954, Roger Bannister did run a sub 4 minute mile. And what happened in that instant, in that moment that he crossed the finish line? What happened in that moment? There was worldwide belief that it was possible. Okay? That you have the ability and that there is a possibility that you can do it. You do not know what you're capable of until you start. Now, I know there's several of you on this call who, until we started the Achievathon in the She Makes It Happen in Business Facebook group, until we started that Achievathon, you'd not used certain technology programs before. You'd never created a plan. You'd never sat down and actually written down what you wanted to achieve. Had you? And yet in that process, you were learning all kinds of new technologies. Websites were built. Graphics were created using graphics packages. Challenges were created. Books were written. A whole lot of things were done during that 14-day period because you had the support, obviously, but also because you knew that you had the ability to do it with the support and encouragement. You knew you could do it. Okay? You are able to achieve anything that you set your mind out at achieving. But the key is to move from your comfort zone into actually taking the action that you need to take. One of my favourite equations is cause is greater than effect. And by that I mean that, if you've ever gone on a beach holiday, there are two ways that people get into the water. One is that they run across the hot sand from their sun lounger, and they stick a toe in. Now, what happens when that toe goes in that water is that inevitably it's freezing cold and they think, oh, I'm not going in. So they run back across the hot sand and they lie down back on their sun lounger and start reading their book again. But there comes a point where the sun's so hot and the water's so inviting that they have to go in. They know that it's time. They've got to go in, and they make that decision, I'm going to go in the water. So they go down to the water's edge, and they either dive straight in, or they go in inch by inch with the water lapping gradually up. Whew, getting colder and colder. But at some point, as that cold water hits their body and the body becomes acclimatized, it's beautiful. It's lovely in here. Oh, why didn't I come in sooner? And that's what it's like a lot of the time when you're testing your abilities to do things, when you're moving from your comfort zone, from inaction to action, from thought into actually doing things, getting out of your comfort zone and being at cause in your life, being at cause, okay? Being at the point where I make a decision, I take action. Gap between thought and behaviour closes. I make a decision, I take action. I want something, I take action. I say I'm going to do it, I do it. Really want for you guys to become those people that the immediate, it's almost immediate that you make a decision to do something and you sit down and do it. You commit to yourself to actually do what you're setting out to do. Now the third one, and this is quite an interesting one, and this is about worthiness. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve to achieve my goals. And again, this goes down to belief. Okay? What you believe that you are worth, what you believe that you deserve in relation to how much effort you're putting in perhaps. No, I don't deserve to be successful because X, Y, Z. Okay? I don't, you have to work really hard to be able to do that. Now, the deserve one's an interesting one, and I really want you to think across all your goals and ask yourselves the question, do you believe that you deserve to achieve that goal? Do you believe you deserve to achieve that goal? And if any of the answers across any of those goals that you've created, whether that's through your 90-day planning process or whether it's personal goals and things that are on your vision board, ask yourself, well, what would have to happen if my answer is no? And it can come up from anywhere, right? It can blindside you, it can hit you, and you just weren't even aware of it. Feel into it as well. Do I really feel like I deserve it? Well, what would have to happen for you to deserve it? What criteria would have to be in place? Under what circumstances would you deserve it? And this is really part of the process of uncovering your limiting beliefs around what your goals are. Okay. Now, we've done the limiting belief exercise in the She Makes It Happen in Business Facebook group, and it's also a much extended version, of course, in the boot camp, in the mastermind. And I'm not sure, but I think there might be a link down below, but I'll pop a link to the group down below anyway. But the very first step, if you remember, is to uncovering limiting beliefs, is to ask yourself the question, I can't because, and then keep asking yourself, because. And then you have a list of reasons why you don't deserve it or why you can't do it. And then you see which ones have got any emotional charge in them. What's charged up with emotion around it. Discard the other ones and then focus on that and think to yourself, where did this belief come from? Now, why do I believe this? Is it my belief or someone else's belief? What evidence do I have that this is not true? And a lot of the time what we're doing here is we're actually applying conscious processes and conscious questions to unconsciously held beliefs, desires, fears a lot of the time too. So look for that activity, and actually if you'd like a copy of that activity, just mention it below and I will send you a link to those sheets because I know they're in the Facebook group, definitely. So that's the third one, Is it possible? Am I able to do it? And am I worthy? Do I deserve to achieve it? I'm hoping you're all still with me. If you're watching the replay and you have questions, please do make a comment. So open for questions now. Those are the three things that you need to have in place. The three mindset shifts that you need to make. And they are, just once more, is it possible for me? Yes, it is possible. Am I capable? Do I have ability to do it? Yes, I do. And if I don't, I'm going to find out how. Remember, ability is not the same thing as competence. And worthiness. Do I deserve it? Okay. And once you believe wholeheartedly that it's possible, you're capable, and that you deserve it, then the sky's the limit. You know, once you lift the lid on those things, that gap between thought and behaviour will close and you'll get the results that you desire. So just before we wrap up, I'd love to invite you to join the community, the She Makes It Happen in Business Facebook group. I will drop the link below. I'd love to see you over there and to join in the discussion. And I will see you again very, very soon.